What's up, Crashed It Nation? This is episode number 6 on the Crashed It podcast. I'm Jonathan the Wood, tuning in live from the Crashed It studio. Some of you that follow me know that yesterday, Sarah and I, my wife Sarah and I, completed the Tough Mudder. It was my first Tough Mudder. We were in St. Louis, Missouri. Basically, for everybody that don't know, a Tough Mudder is like a run, like a 5K, like you actually run. They had 5K, 10K, and 15K. It's basically just a giant obstacle course. And we did the 5K one just because it's my first one, and I didn't know how well I would do. But we went with her gym, the Studio 573 crew. We were the 573 Mud Squad, and we had nine people that ran the 5K with us. There was 22 total, but we had 9, and it just reminded me, as it kind of reminded me of the Derby World, and it just made me think a lot about the figure eight and the Derby World on how the event kind of took place. So every obstacle we came to seemed like we made a determination before we started running that we were all going to do every obstacle together, and we were going to make sure everybody got through the obstacle before we moved on to the next one. And it just reminded me of what happens at the track, because it don't matter, if you're a driver or crew member, no matter what obstacle you face, it seems like everybody rallies around whatever driver it is that's facing the obstacle to make sure they get out on the track. And, we had plenty of cars that didn't pass tech the first time through. And you've seen other drivers, lending torches and helping cut and stuff like that just to get that driver out on that track. And it just helped, it reminded me of the Derby World a little bit. In addition to that, I had some time to catch up on the spring explosion. Team EPR, man, they put on a show in their heat. They were probably the fastest heat. They faced off against like Team Bad Habit, and EPR was able to bring out the win. It was a quick heat. But in the feature, team SPE brought home the win. That was Chad Weir, Chase Simmons, Luke Schaffner, and Chris Smith. Luke Schaffner, came down to him, and I believe Bob Whitaker and Terry Timmons, Brandon Johnson, and Ryan Dern with Misco Crane. They got second. Team EPR brought home third with Adam and Craig Lemminger, Jake Benters, and Austin Knorr. And P&L Coors brought home fourth place as Brian Haffleton and Cody Schmidt, Weston Wessels, and Josh Johnson. In the 35 car bone stock, the track was pretty congested. We had some of our local guys go up there, Matt Porter, Ben Porter, and Roy Porter. And I got a Snapchat about 2 hours before the Derby started, saying from Ben, and he just said, "Yeah, we've all decided we're just gonna go out there and make junk," and that's what they did. Roy took a kind of a weird shot right off the get go, and Matt definitely was out there to, he was looked like he got bored and he was ready to go, so he just sent it. And so good job, guys, on the way to represent Missouri well. They weren't able to bring home the win, but they put on a show. So that's in the team compacts. Chad Hurd and Cord McKinney brought home with Celeste Coors. They brought home the win. They had the two-man team compacts. And then in second we had Busted Knuckle Auto Recycling with Jake Brownfield and Zach Brandenburg, I'm sorry. In the kicker class, Don Santel came out victorious over Roger Hickman and Nathan Brown. In the team vans, four-wheel drive promotions, Ryan Dillo and James Ratterschat brought home the win. WLRRCB brought home second. That's Steve Russell and Dylan Russell. And rounding down the top three is Smash Brothers, Cody LaMarche and Josh White in the vans. Overall, Spring Explosion was a hard-hitting show, and as promoter, that's all you always hope for. You hope the drivers are going to put on a show for the fans, for the promotions, and just for themselves. This week is Winners Weekend. We're going to catch up with the winners of our Lucky Sevens promotion season opener. And that was Matt Jungmeyer and Darian Wolfe bringing home the win in the Powder Puffs. So we're going to catch up with Matt, see how, they both had a week to soak in the win, and we're going to see how things are going, if they're building up for the next show or if there's much work to do. Let's catch up with Matt. All right, we're back with Matt Jungmeyer, the driver of the 33. He was your season opener race winner. Matt, let me be the first to say thank you for joining us on Crashed It Podcast.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Matt, can you kind of give our listeners kind of how you got started in the sport of figure eight racing?
My brother started doing it first, and I kind of went and watched him at a couple, and then rode with him at a couple after that, and then I was like, well, I might as well try it. So here I am. So.
And so Jordan, is that Jordan, your brother?
Yep. Jordan did it first. I think one of his buddies, Dominic Miller, kind of got him going in on it, and then kind of trickled down from there. So
how long have you been driving?
I was thinking about that. I think 3 years. I might have done a couple 4 years ago, but the last 2 years I've done more of them.
I was gonna say, I know for a fact the last 2 years you guys have been about every show.
Yep.
So, do you have a preference on like the build or the type of car that last car? It seemed like you drove it for a long time.
From last year, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. I had it. It made it. It was 2 years, I guess. But first year I had it, I didn't run it, or didn't run all of them, I don't think. But then last year, I think it made almost every show, other than a couple of them. But
so, do you have a preference on car? Or you just whatever you got? Is that just what you drive?
Yeah, pretty much whatever we can find for the right price.
Yeah, the prices of cars have gone up. That's for sure.
Yep. You can't find them hardly really for a couple $100 like you used to be able to all the time. So.
And so this build this year, that was pretty impressive. Came out the fresh car in Russellville.
Yep. Yeah, this year we actually put cages in them and stuff, and like Dylan and Blaine with DBR, we got some fuel cells and cage material from them, and actually got decent tires and everything like that this year. So,
what kind of tires were you running?
They're V-treads. We got them. Nathan Dummerman hooked them up from Nate's Tire. We always call him normally for any tires and send him a message, and he sets us up with them pretty quick. So.
Yeah, I seen a lot of V-treads on opening night, and I was hoping my YouTube. I went live like through the pit walkthrough, and I was taking videos of everybody's cars, and I was noticing a lot of V-tread tires on there, and I was like, man, I'm interested to see how these work. It seemed like everybody had the same idea.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely game changer for sure. So
could you tell a difference from what you normally run to them, or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was just if it was more the track or the tires or what, but yeah, definitely definitely noticed a difference. I
Yeah.
mean, but this year's car was a little faster than what I was used to running to, so it could have been a combination of stuff. So
let's talk about the race a little. So you come out. Did you do the honor lap or whatever for the tribute laps for Jacob?
no, my brother drove my car in that because my little boy was doing the Power Wheels, so I was up there with him, and my other brother, drove my car through that. It was a pretty cool deal. Pretty cool what Kyle did there.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. So your little boy drove in the Power Wheels?
Yeah, he was the little tractor that took off toward the wrong tires.
He was the one going around the whole course.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this guy's getting the track ready.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the Power Wheel?
Oh, he loves it. He loves all of it, really. He likes being up here when we're working on them and everything. He's a lot like his Uncle Jordan. You give him a hammer and a screwdriver and he can fix anything, he thinks. So
There you go. Well, there's one way to fix it with the hammer, I guess.
yeah.
Hammer, duct tape.
Yeah.
So how old's your son, if you don't mind saying on here?
No. He just turned 3.
Wow, so he's 3 years old and he's already out there in a Power Wheel?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Was he scared?
I don't think so. He did, the first one he ever did was in Versailles last year, whenever it rained a whole bunch, but they got that, and he just kept driving into everybody, so I kind of told him, I was like, hey, if somebody's in front of you, you got to go around them sometimes. And
oh, don't tell Easton that. He was hitting everybody. He knocked his hood off in the Power Wheels.
yeah, no, that's pretty fun to watch some little kids get out there and do that, though. So
yeah, that's the future. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, time flies, and it won't be long before they're getting in youth cars and trying their hand at it.
Yep, that's for sure.
So, your heat race, I think you started second row inside, as my memory serves.
Yep. So second on the inside, and then kind of got around the first corner pretty good, and after that, it just...
You took off. You left everybody. I think Nate was in your heat. I think he had transmission problems.
Yep, I think that's right.
And Ferguson, maybe?
Yep, there was a Ferguson in there, yes.
So there were some heavy hitters in that heat too. But I mean, you definitely look like your car was on a rail.
Yeah, like I said, just happened to hit the right openings at the right time. So one of them could have closed up, and that could have been the end of it too. So it's just...
Yeah. So you won your heat, and then where did you start out in the feature? Did they tell you how they kind of line that up?
Not really. No, is it all through the computer now?
Yeah. So now, what I thought was pretty cool, Joshua radios up to me. He says, "Hey, just tell them guys that we're gonna line them up by lap time, the winners." So in the heat, we used to kind of draw them out to see where you'd start. Now he goes by lap time through those transponders, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I thought that was pretty awesome when he said that, and I was like, man. So let's see, in your A main, how'd that go for you?
Kind of got off to a slow start, really. Kind of got pushed out and then halfway spun around once, but then turned out to be a good thing because, like I said, after that, I just happened to be coming around the track at the right time, hitting the right gaps, and every lap I'd pass one or so, they'd get tangled up in the middle, and I'd be able to sneak around them, just hitting the gaps at the right time. But
so did you have a game plan going into that race? Like, did you plan on like hanging back for a minute, or was it just because you kind of got spun out I think it was in the far corner over there, like by where you guys came in at?
Yep. Yep. No, didn't really have no game plan. Just kind of go out there and see how it goes and try and adjust from that. So.
Yeah, it seemed like to me, maybe this is just me talking. I don't know. So Dylan was winning the race, and from my camera quit working up in the top, which I'm very sorry about that. Didn't know about that. I didn't know about the memory thing, but now I got it figured out. But I watched a couple other videos that I could find, and it looked like when Dylan got to you, he didn't lap you, but it looked like he almost like came to your door, and you're like, "Oh, it's go time now."
Yeah, I know he was real close there a couple different times. Cause I think there's the red flag in there. I know for sure. I noticed he was like right behind me. I'm like, yeah,
Yep.
I'm pretty sure he's winning, and I'm about to get lapped.
Yep. But I don't think he ever. I don't. If he ever did lap you, it was just for a split second because uh, after that, it seemed like he turned it up. And maybe
Yeah,
it was just a timing thing, or maybe it was a little of both.
yeah, yeah. It could have been a little bit of both, but just happened to hit be coming around the right time. So
Did it seem like the last two laps that the seas just parted for you?
yeah, pretty much the
Because
last year I seen. I thought I never got laps, but and I seen Kyle. I think got the white flag.
yep.
Just
And
got kind of hung up in the middle, and I thought I could maybe sneak around on the outside. And I just was going for it at that point. So
yeah. Oh yeah. And I think and the more I think about it, I'm like, man, that's what everybody thinks.
yeah,
Because there were so many cars on the lead lap, I was thinking, a lot of them guys see the white flag and they're like, yep, I'm in the money. I'm
yeah,
going for it. And that could have contributed to some of the pileups that happened the last two laps, I think.
yeah, for sure. I think it was the last two laps.
But Joshua said you passed like 6 cars the last 2 laps.
Yeah, I noticed after the last two laps for sure there was people get tangled up in the middle, and I seemed to be able to skate around them. So just right holes open up at the right time. So
Was that your first win?
yep, yep, that was my first one for sure.
That was the first one. That was a big win. That had to feel like winning California to me.
Yeah, that was crazy. In Russellville, we got there. I thought we got there really early, but there's already quite cars there, and then they just kept rolling in and rolling in. I'm like, yeah, like something you'd expect in California almost. So
Yeah, I got there. I got there at 4:30, and I couldn't even pull in the pit area. And I was driving just like an SUV, and I was like, well, I'll just go park on the other side. And then I walked down there. First thing I went and talked to Jacob, and he goes, "Yep, man, there's a lot of cars here." And
yeah,
I know we were pretty shocked by how many. We always hope for a good night like that, but you can never, expect that for sure.
yeah, for sure. It was awesome. A bunch of cars and weather held off and everything. Just a great night for it.
Yeah, it was a great night, and the crowd. I think the crowd loved it.
Yeah,
I talked to a lot of people, kind of like off the mic around the crowd, just to kind of feel out like if they're longtime fans, or there was a lot of new people that's never really even been to a figure eight that was there. So
yep,
that was
yep,
awesome.
yep. You looked over there and it was like you were at a Cole County or Montauk County fair. As many people sitting in the fans. Really, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that. So did you get a trophy or anything?
Uh, yeah, I don't know who they had made them really, but yeah, they're real cool trophies.
Was it like a cutout, maybe?
Yep, yep,
Okay. They never, usually they come up and tell me who made the trophies, but I would almost lay money that those were from Gardner Welding.
yep.
Those are usually who they have make them. And I was trying to figure that out, but no one from the Lions, they were so busy down there in the cook shack, they didn't have time to come talk to me.
Yeah.
Usually they come up and talk to me so I can at least, give them a shout out. And I
Right.
felt bad because I was like, man, normally I know they have someone make trophies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, they did a great job on them. They're real cool. So.
yeah, I would almost bet they're from Gardner Welding. What's your trophy look like?
It's like two cars, kind of, derby cars going kind of head on, and then it's got the first or whatever kind of in the middle up top. So.
So how bad's the car? Did it tear up the car any?
It wasn't too bad. I think bent the strut and frame got tweaked just a little bit, but not bad. So.
So do you have a nickname or anything?
No.
Well, you're gonna have one by the end of the year. I was talking about that just this weekend. I was like, man, I gotta get these Jungmeyer boys some nicknames. What about Jordan? He got a nickname?
Not that I know of, really.
Oh, well, he's always got the turtle on the top of the car. I've always thought that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. This time he put the car on top of the turtle.
I was gonna ask about that. How's that turtle doing after that?
Yeah. Surprisingly, it looks pretty good. The turtle, anyway.
How's Jordan? Did it hurt him any? I mean, when you see a
No.
car roll over, it's always kind of scary for us because you don't know what's going on inside the car.
Yeah. No, we were. I mean, we were both fine. He just couldn't get his seatbelt unlatched. Was the only thing holding him up. So, and the firefighter ran in there and got his seatbelt cut, and he was able to get out. So.
Were you the passenger?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even know he had anyone riding with him. And then Jacob, I go, why aren't they flipping the car over? He goes, well, someone's in there with him. I go, oh, shoot. Because I seen him moving around, and I said, yep, he's good.
Yeah.
I announced it to the crowd. Then I seen Jordan walk around the car and go, oh, shoot, he's got a passenger.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, I was able to get out, and then his seatbelt just wouldn't release for him. He couldn't get the seatbelt to release. So.
yeah, I've always, that first heat, it seems like the track's always dry. It's like not as wet as it should be. And we usually see someone smoke a tire. Then you guys smoked Landon right after he smoked the tire.
Yeah. 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 It was all smoking, couldn't see anything, and yeah.
I think, and that's what I thought was going through his head watching the video. It looked like he's just like, yeah, I can't see. I'm just going to send it right into the tire, and then you guys were just following him.
Yep. Yeah. First race, a little bit of first race jitters and stuff, I'd say. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. It takes a little bit to get the rust off every year.
Yep, for sure.
Well,
I think new tires had, I mean, if he wouldn't have done it, there's a good chance I would have done it too, because them tires change it a lot as far as setting up the slide or turn around the tire too.
Yeah, so. I noticed your driving. Like if you watch some videos from last year, you guys were turning a lot sooner than you were turning in your race. Because I study a lot of them videos just to see drivers' tendencies.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I do it is I love doing it for the drivers, and I love just getting on there and watching them. So.
Yep.
Well, you got any sponsors or anyone you want to thank?
No sponsors or nothing. But I mean, there's everybody out there always helps you out. So I mean, good group of guys, and probably better thank my wife for letting me do it all the time and spend a lot of time messing around with the cars and everything. So.
Yeah, they're always there for us.
Yep, for sure.
So you don't have any sponsors?
No, we just.
Have you ever tried getting them, or you just never really thought about it, or just decided to just do it yourself?
Yeah, I mean, no, we've never really thought about it. We just pretty much have always done it ourselves. So.
Well, that's impressive because I mean, I've did it both ways. Tried doing it by I just self-fund my whole car, and then then, the better I got, I'd start, talking to people about sponsorships, and it was just always nice to have a little extra money.
Yep.
Like one year, Subway picked up my entry fee for every single race I went to, which was awesome for me as a driver because that was one less thing you had to worry about.
Right. Yep.
Well, if you ever need sponsors, let me know. I've got some people that's been asking, so.
Yep. Yep. Keep that in mind.
Well, I appreciate you coming out and talking. Well, stop taking time out of your day and talking with me.
Yeah.
Very awesome first race. I'm glad to see you win one. It even makes it more, exciting for me that knowing that was your first win.
Yep. Yep. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
I've always told Landon, and I think I told Kyle too years ago, I said, it just seems like once you get the first win, they just stack up after that.
Yeah, I hope that's the way it goes.
I'm telling you, it's amazing how it works. But are you gonna go to New Bloomfield?
Still kind of up in the air. I'm gonna have a less than 2-week-old another little boy running around, so see how everything's going with that.
Oh, really? Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you. So
yeah, well, I know how that goes. I mean, you got to put your family first, man. So
for sure.
I know all of us at Lucky Sevens, and we won't hold that against you ever. So enjoy the little one, and if we see you there, just go out there and send it, man. Keep her going. So, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye. Like he said, he just he hit the right holes at the right time, and he was able to pull out a win. Car was on the rail all night, and to me, it just seemed like he turned it up once Dylan caught him. But to pass 6 cars on the last 2 laps, that just says something about our sport. It just says that how it all can change within one intersection. I mean, everything can change if you pick the wrong hole or shoot the wrong gap. And we appreciate Matt for taking his time out to speak with us, and congrats on the newborn. All right, we're back, and I'm on the phone with Darian Wolfe. She is the winner of the 2022 season opener of the Powder Puff. Darian, let me tell you, thank you for joining us on Crashed It Podcast.
Absolutely.
And Darian, just for all the listeners, can you kind of tell me how you got started in the sport of figure 8 racing?
So originally, Garrett and Gary and Anthony owned J&B, which used to do the figure 8s, and I was dating Garrett and just kind of got into it through Garrett.
Okay, and so how many races do you think you've driven in?
A lot. Probably too many to count.
All right, and so do you have your own car this year, or is it just something that you have to try to kind of find?
As of now, no car of my own, but the plan is to get one after the wedding.
The wedding?
Yeah.
When's the wedding?
May 21st, so here quick.
Holy smokes. May 21st. Well, are you guys going to have a honeymoon?
We are in the middle of June, so I know for sure I'll miss one race.
So tell the listeners who the lucky guy is. I already know, but
Garrett Jones.
Yep, and Garrett's he's ran quite a bit of shows himself, hasn't he?
Yep, since about 16, so about 10 years.
And so you don't have a car right now, and there's a lot of the powder puffers that do not have their own car. And I've always, I'm always impressed on how well you guys do. when you just jump into a random car and go out there. And
Yeah.
the last couple of years, the powder puff, it's tough competition out there.
It is. It really is. A lot of the girls know how to drive, and honestly, wouldn't be surprised if you got them in with some guys that did pretty good too.
I think I could name 10 drivers that I wouldn't be shocked if they could pull out a heat race or even a feature race win with the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys have tough competition too. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but
that's not.
the girls,
No kidding.
you guys are crazy. I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
Don't get me wrong. I've been in my fair share in the powder puff. So
my wife's one of them drivers. I'm just like, what are you? She likes the derby too much, but no, there's a lot of good talent in the figure eight powder puffs, and that's something I wanted to get. I was really happy when you told me you could come on here because you, as an announcer, I try to tell people to stick around, but sometimes they just leave before you guys have a chance to come on the track, and the reason it takes so long for us to get you guys lined up is because we're trying to make sure that if there's a lady out there that can find a car to go in, they have to come down there and register after the race because the car they might have picked out, or got the okay on, it might be disabled by the time they get to drive. And
yeah, absolutely. That's like last weekend when I had no intentions of going out there winning. Garrett ran the car in the heat, and it was running terrible. Couldn't get it to go. Always wanted to bog down. I'm like, well, the motor's junk, so I'm just going to go out there and try to finish off the motor. And then ended up winning, so.
Well, the motor's junk. It could have been the driver. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
He was so mad, but it was such a good time.
So how did it run for you, knowing that?
I mean, it didn't run bad. There was a couple of times when I would go into a corner where you could definitely tell it was starting to bog down, so you let off the gas a little bit, and then put on the gas again, and it wanted to run just fine. So I don't know. I think it's operator error.
So actually, I don't know about this, but this could be the problem in it, and it's crazy, but it's happened to me before a couple times. So, have you guys checked to see how much gas is in the car?
Yeah, we had actually just filled it up.
Okay. Because I had a car that did that the same way you just described it. It would really kind of bog down in the corners sometimes, and it was just because it was running out of gas, and I just didn't know it.
Yeah, so it would sit there and idle, and it would idle, but it was like really bad idle, like it was bogging down when it was idling. Sometimes it would die, and then others it just wanted to run fine. So he's got a couple of things he's going to do to it to see if that helps.
So was this your first win, or have you had others?
Oh, I have had a lot of wins.
I knew you did. So where's this win stack up against the other ones?
Well, in March, the end of March, we lost Porky, and Porky was always one of my biggest supporters, and really just went out there, and it felt good to win it for him.
Yeah, I mean he was a big part of a lot of the figure eight racing world. I mean, I didn't really know him like a lot of people did, but I could tell you one thing about that guy. He was always smiling and having a good time.
Always. He always had a good spirit. And anytime I didn't have a car, Porky was always there. He always let me run his car. I had a couple wins in his cars, so it just felt good to go out there and win it for Porky.
Yeah, and so this year, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know if we have a powder puff sponsor this year. Did you get a trophy?
I didn't, but they told me Ben wasn't there, so that's why I didn't get one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Ben has always been the sponsor for the Powder Puff, and I don't know if he is this year, honestly.
Well, I have plenty of trophies stacked up in my garage, so if I don't get them, it doesn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I told Ben, he I think I was there for that conversation, but I don't want to say that it's yes or no, but I thought I heard him say no, just because of some stuff that he's trying to put his wife through college and stuff, so.
Yeah, don't blame him there for not wanting to do anything. But again, it's not about the trophies. It's about going out there, having a fun, making friendships with girls, sometimes enemies, but hey, it's a part of the sport.
Yeah. So, is there a driver that you're like, man, she's really good out there?
I mean, there's a couple really good drivers out there. Chelsea and then Shaylin, they're both into it really good. Lexus and Danielle, they're both pretty good. We've all had our go-rounds, but it's how the sport goes. You're all going to have go-rounds.
Yeah, all them drivers that you just named they're stiff competition, and for anyone that hasn't stayed and watched the Powder Puff, I would highly encourage it.
Absolutely.
These girls put it all on the line.
Sometimes there's better shows with the Powder Puff than there is the guys. Just with how crazy we can drive.
Oh, yeah. I can think of a couple shows where I was like, that lady just inverted her bumper.
Yep.
And I actually I don't know who it was. I don't think it was you. You weren't the one that drove over the mountain in New Bloomfield last year, were you?
No, I was not at New Bloomfield last year.
Yeah, so I don't know. I can't remember who it was, but someone, they were going so fast and they dodged a car and they just dodged it and their car went like completely over the dirt berm.
Wow.
And I was like, look out.
Yeah.
But, man, there's always, and there's some good races back and forth. I think it was Jeff City last year. I believe who was it? Lexus Clethermos maybe won that one.
I think so. But sounds familiar.
There was 4 cars coming across. They got the white flag all together, and they were 4 wide going through there. So
wow,
that was a good show.
Yeah, there's some stiff competition.
So since you don't have your own car, in the past you have had your own car though, right?
Yeah, I have.
And
I definitely plan to have one.
If you get one built, are you going to be looking for sponsors, or are you just going to do it all on your own?
I mean, I'm all for sponsors. I don't know how many will actually make it to take on sponsors, because it's just like a fun, when I don't have something going on, we go, stuff like that. So yeah. When that time comes, we'll definitely talk about it.
Yeah, because there's always, even, in the past, I've gotten sponsors just for like one show. Like, hey, I'll put your name on my car if you pay my entry fee or something like that. Like, It doesn't have to be something crazy, but there's always people willing to throw a little money at the car just to get it, get it there and in front of everybody.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely something we'll think about, especially with the fair. We know we want to have cars for the fair.
For the Montauk County one?
Yep.
That's always a wild Powder Puff show, and the whole show is wild. That's why you can't find a seat there, because everyone knows that's going to be a crazy night.
Absolutely it will be. It's always a good show.
Do you have anyone you want to thank on here for letting you drive their car, or for maybe helping you out in the past? Or?
I definitely want to thank Garrett, because he's the one that spent most of his time on the car getting it ready to go. And Gary because Gary spent a lot of time in the shop with Garrett. And then, I don't know, just they've always been good influences for me driving. And Amber was there for support on Saturday, so it felt really good to have them. So they're my best supporters, and I want to thank all of them.
Yeah, and you said Gary is still putting on derbies with J&B, is that correct?
Yeah, we actually have one coming up next weekend. Well, this coming weekend, the 7th.
Okay, where's that at?
In Warrenton.
And are you helping with that?
Yep, I will be there.
So do you have some information that you might want to share about that show on here? Maybe some of the listeners will want to go check it out, because there's a lot of people that listen to this.
May 7th, Warrenton. I don't have a whole lot of information. Gary's in the kitchen, though. I can ask him if you want some details.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big car derby?
Yeah, big car, compact, gut and go,
lawnmower derby,
and a lawnmower derby.
So, May 7th, Warrenton, Missouri, they're going to have, J&B Promotions is going to have
same as we're having in California.
So they're going to have a gut and go, big car, lawnmowers. And you can check out the website, J&B Promotions. They have all their information on there. Another thing that you can check out if you're looking for something to do a weekend, I believe there's an actual Facebook page with Missouri Derbies on it, and it's got every promoter's shows on there as well. Kind of got off subject there, but since he was there, I had to ask, because I know they're always putting on good shows, so we like to support shows like that.
We try our best.
And last year, that was kind of Warrenton was the one that it rained every time, and the fair board wouldn't let them.
They always cancel.
Yeah.
Always.
It wasn't the promoter. So anyone listening, it's not the promoter.
If wants to go, don't get your hopes up, because it might be rained out.
Yeah, so it's not the promoter that cancels them shows. It's the people that they have to go through.
Yep.
I just wanted to say that on here, because sometimes you see something on Facebook and you're like, well, it's kind of out of their hands. So so you got the fair show? Any other shows that you're planning on running?
I know for sure we're going to try to make all of them at California and Jeff, probably Russellville. I know there's a couple more there. But I really don't know what our derby schedule looks like, so it'll really just depend where we're at there.
Have you
had to make them as many as possible?
Have you had a favorite type of car that you like to drive?
So my preference is always a old square body Nissan Sentra.
That's pretty specific.
I know. That's what my own cars have been. I've had 2 or 3 of them, and they've never done me wrong.
All right. Well, that was a new type of car. So are those the 6 cylinders, or do you even know? Or I'm sure you know.
They're just a 4.
They're just 4 on there?
Yeah.
And is there a special type of tire you like to run?
No, whatever I can find normally.
That's what it's for me usually. I don't know. I've seen so many V-treads at Russellville.
I know. We pulled up. Garrett's like, I should have bought some V-treads because everybody's got them.
Yeah, I mean half the people out there had them, and it was like they all were thinking about it over the winter, because last year you might see 1 or 2 sets of V-treads, and that was it. And everyone I've spoken to so far has kind of liked the V-treads about it. Yeah. So that's something he may want to try out in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll put it on my list of things to try.
So everyone I've talked to said, that kept the axles. They were all worried about their axles, and they said their axles held, and the cars definitely seemed like they had more grip. But that could have been the track. I mean, Russellville was pretty tacky on our last show.
It was.
So do you like it when the track's a little bit more racy for like the powder puff? Because sometimes they put too much water on there.
Yeah, so I would rather it be more racy because a couple years ago in Russellville, there was only 2 of us, and I ended up going to the hospital because they overwatered. And I would rather it just be the racy, tacky track because it's easier to maneuver.
Right. And that's something, that we've been talking about too, is like some of these, in my opinion anyway, it's a lot harder to control a car when the track's too wet.
Yes, very much so. That is what sent me to the hospital.
So in the future,
was not fun.
You might see more tacky tracks.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Because I know the boys are always looking they're always looking to make everyone's race night the best it can be.
Yeah, so. That's awesome.
But thanks for taking your time to out of your Sunday to talk to me.
Yeah, no worries.
I
actually enjoyed the conversation.
We look forward to seeing you out there again. Good luck with the wedding and have a fun time on your guys' honeymoon. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank
you. And thank you guys for putting on great shows.
Well, we're trying our best, and it seems like every week we'll shoot each other text messages or ideas we have. Some of them are crazy, and then other ones kind of make sense. So we've got some.
Sometimes you just gotta go with the crazy idea and see if it works or not.
Well, we've got some stuff planned, and it seems like the more and more information we get back from these transponders, the more likely these shows that we got planned are going to happen. So
awesome. Well, I'm excited for the future with you guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I appreciate you coming on. I'll talk to you later.
Right.
Bye. If I could figure this out. All right, that was Darian Wolfe. She brought home the win for the Powder Puff in Russellville. Darian, like she said, she's going to go get married and go on a honeymoon, but she looks out. She's going to be trying to make it sounded like she said about 6 shows this year. And one thing about the Powder Puff drivers is they adapt so well to the way, to the cars they're driving. Because like she said, some nights she don't know what she's getting into. She don't have her own car. She just goes around and talks to some of the drivers, and they supply her with a car. And a lot of the drivers out there, they're willing to let a lady drive their car. If you're out there and you want to get into it, just go over there and talk to the drivers and, see if they can loan you out their car, or, they'll probably tell you kind of how to drive it, but that's just because they care about their stuff and they don't want anyone else out there getting hurt. But like I said, Darian, good luck out there on your next one and send it. Thank you all for tuning in to episode number 6. I think this is going to be a wrap. We got to hear from Matt Jungmeyer and Darian Wolfe today, and we look forward to reaching out to some drivers from out of the area next week. Stay tuned and go out there and send it.